On today's show, I'm going to show you how to play all the rhythm guitar parts from Black Sabbath's Iron Man, so stick around. Hey friends, welcome to the channel. My name is Chris, and today we're going to be doing another riff breakdown video. This time we're going to be going through the classic Iron Man by Black Sabbath. This is a great song to play if you're a beginner, or if you're just looking to brush up on some basics. This is a must-learn song for any guitarist if you're trying to get into playing heavy guitar, heavy metal, and I'm happy to take you through it with some tabs. Before we get too far into things today, don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell icon so you can be notified every time a new video drops. If you'd also like to support my work, you can do so by buying me a coffee. There's a link down in the description below. Any contribution is greatly appreciated. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the gear and the tuning. So when people think of Black Sabbath songs, of course, they think of down-tuned sludgy riffs, but at this point in their career, they were still playing in standard tuning. So all songs on the Paranoid record are in E standard tuning. The notes from low to high are E, A, D, G, B, and E. All right, so go ahead and tune up. Next thing we're going to talk about super quickly is the setup that we're using. I am going to be using my bridge position humbucker pickup, and I pulled it out into the passive, more mellow voice on this guitar. The tone we're going to be using today is the same one we used in the Black Sabbath tone video. If you haven't checked it out, there's a link down in the description below. So let's pull up the tone and let's hear what it sounds like. All right, sounded good. Let's jump over into Guitar Pro 8 and let's go through the riffs one at a time. All right, friends, so here we are in Guitar Pro 8. I like using this software because you can download the tabs and slow them down to practice along. You can also use metronomes and count-ins to help you out. So some of the features of the software that we're going to be using to practice today are the metronome. So I have them turned on right here. You can just click up here, turn them off and back on again. You can also click on the three dots right beside that to set the volume of the metronome, as well as to have a visual metronome. So you'll see the metronome counting along as you go. We're going to leave that on, and we're also going to set the duration of our count in to be 2 bars. So every time we play through with tabs, it's going to count us in for 2 bars. Then we know the music's going to start. You can also go ahead and have the metronome count down in between loops if you like. That way, if I'm looping a section that I want to practice, the metronome will be counting in between the loops, so I can get a chance to get set up before I move back to the top of the measure. The other feature that we can be using is the repeat feature. So if you want to be playing a section over and over again, the repeat feature is super handy for that. And then we're also going to be using the tempo feature, and I can click the little sliders right here to speed up or slow things down. For this one, we're going to be playing through at about 70% of the regular speed of the track today. That should be slow enough to help you guys find your fingerings if you're new to playing, but also quick enough that we're going to be able to hear the note. One thing that I've noticed when practicing, if you slow the metronome down too much, you're going to lose the rhythm in there. So try to find a good happy medium between where it's comfortable for you to play at when you're learning your fingerings and your timings, but don't go too slow that you're not able to find the rhythm of the track. So how you would activate a loop if you've never done it before, you'd select the section of the track that you wanted to be working on, make sure the repeat is on, and then you will go ahead and press the space bar to play this section of the track. And when you do, it's going to count you in 2 bars, play the bar, then it's going to count 2 bars again and replay it again. Let's check it out and hear what that sounds like. Pretty straightforward, but as you can see, super handy tool for when you are practicing complex guitar parts, because you can set it to repeat over and over and over again. Another feature you might want to try if you're looking to get things up to tempo is come on up in here to the tempo setting, and in the scroll down you have the ability to set a variation tempo, clicking the 70 to 100% down here. What that does is it sets a progressive speed that gets 10% faster each time you go through the loop, so that eventually brings you up to full tempo. So if you're at the point playing where you've got everything, you're just looking to speed it up, that can be a great technique to use as well. You can also modify this further under the custom values. You can set it to repeat a certain amount of times at 70% before going up 10% to 80%, or you can change the steps. Maybe you want it to only go up 5% speed at a time. All right, so now we're set up into our playing position, and let's start off with the classic intro riff. The way that he plays this is actually a bend behind the nut. I'm going to be using my pinky on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and I'm going to be using my middle finger to pluck that. At the same time, I'm going to be picking the open 6th string. And I'm going to use my index finger to reach behind. I'm going to bend it up a full step. You're going to do that 3 times in a row. All right, let's try that with tabs at 70% speed. All right, let's get into the classic main riff. We're going to start by playing a B power chord. That is the 7th fret on the 6th string and the 9th fret on the 5th string. I'm going to then slide that up into the D power chord position, which is at the 10th fret on the 6th string and 12th fret on the 5th string. And as I slide up, I'm going to pick the note. I'm then going to slide up again to the E power chord position, the 12th fret on the 6th string and the 14th fret on the 5th string. And then to finish that phrase off, I'm going to play the E power chord again. B, slide into D, D, slide into E, and then play E. Let's try it out. The next part of the riff, I'm going to be going up to the 15th and 17th fret on the 6th and 5th string, and I'm going to be sliding down 1 fret to the 14th and 16th. I'm going to do that 3 times. Then I'm going to go down to the D power chord again, then slide into E and hit the E chord to finish the riff. Let's try that second part again. Let's try it again from the beginning, and then we'll jump in and do it with some tabs. All right, let's jump in and try it with some tabs at 70% speed so you can play along at home. Moving on to the verse riff, this is going to be mirroring the main riff of the song, but we're going to be playing it as a melody, which means we're only playing 1 note at a time as opposed to playing power chords. So we're going to start it off on the 7th fret of the 6th string. Then I'm going to go up to the 5th fret on the 5th string and slide up to the 7th fret and hit it again. One more time. Then I'm going to go up to the 5th fret of the 4th string, and I'm going to pull off to the 4th fret 3 times in a row. Play the 5th fret on the 5th string again. Then slide up to the 7th fret and play it again. The second part of the riff again. Let's take it one more time from the top, and then we'll try it with some tabs. Let's jump in and try that riff at 70% speed with tabs. All right, so the interlude is a real cool heavy blues riff, starting off by playing the 7th fret on the 6th string twice. Then we're going to go up to the 5th fret on the 5th string. and back down to the 7th on the 6th string. So let's put it together. I'm then going to go down chromatically to the 6th fret, then down to the 5th fret, and play that 2 more times. Put the first and the last part together. That next I'm going to play the open 6th string, the 4th fret on the 6th string, 5th fret twice, and then the 6th fret. One more time, putting the whole thing together. You're going to play that pattern 3 times in a row. The 4th time through, you're going to play the exact same thing until you get to the ending. You're simply going to stop on the 5th fret. You're not going to play the 6th fret. Bill Ward plays his drum fill, and we're back into the main riff. Let's try that at 70% speed with tabs. The next new riff up is chorus section. So it's going to start by playing an E power chord at the 12th and 14th fret. You're going to hold that for the entire bar, then you're going to go down and you're going to play the D power chord at the 10th and the 12th fret. Then we're going to go down into the B position and I'm going to play 2 B power chords. Then I'm going to play a little blues lick going up the B minor scale. I'm going to start by playing the 7th fret on the 6th string, then up to the 10th fret, play the 7th fret on the 5th string, then I'm going to play the 7th fret again, then 8 and then 9 on the 5th string. Then the exact same chromatic phrase on the 5th string, 7, 8, 9. So play that again from the start. All right, let's jump in and try it with some tabs. All right, next up is the bridge before the solo. We're going to start off by playing the 11th fret on the 5th string, followed by the 9th fret. Then I'm going to play the 11th, 10th, and 9th fret on the 5th string. Then down to the 7th fret. Then I'm going to play the 7th fret on the 6th string, play it again and slide up to 9. And then hit 9 to finish off. Let's try it again one more time and then we'll try it with tabs at 70% speed. Let's try putting that whole thing together one more time before we jump into the tabs. All right, let's jump in, try it with 70% speed with tabs. believe it or not, we only have one more riff left to do, and it is the outro riff. Everything else is just repeated throughout the song. So hopefully when we're done, you can take these riffs and go back and see how the whole song was played when I did my cover, put it together, and learn to play it yourself. Let's jump into that outro and see what it sounds like. I'm going to start by playing the 7th fret on the 5th string, pull off to 5, and then play the 7th fret again. Then I'm going to hammer on from the 5th fret to the 7th fret, back down to the 5th fret. I'm going to do the first part again, 7, 5, 7. I'm going to go up to the 4th fret on the 4th string, and I'm going to play 4, 5, 4, 5 twice. Then I'm going to play 4, hammer on to 5, pull off to 4, and down to the 5th fret on the 5th string. Let's try that again. Let's try it from the top, and then we'll jump in and try it with some tabs. All right, let's jump in, try it at 70% speed with tabs. All right, then he goes on and plays the solo, then he comes back, does that exact thing again. The only difference is on the very last pass through, he's gonna finish it off by playing power chords, the 7th and the 9th fret on the 5th and 4th string. Slide down to a D power chord, which is the 5th and 7th fret on the same string, and slide back up and pick the E chord to finish. Putting that all together. All right, let's try adding it to the main riff. And that's the whole song. Let's jump in, try it with 70% tabs. And that's a wrap for today. I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson. If you did, go ahead, drop a like and a comment down below. Your support really helps the channel. And if there's a song that you would like to see me cover or teach on this channel, by all means, please drop it in the comments down below. I'm happy to take your requests on this channel. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.